please, and a warm welcome to our today's eminent speaker, Mr. Amitendra Kumar. Uh, uh, I'm seeing a very small attendance today, which is rather unfortunate because, somewhere I have come to realize that this being one of the most prestigious career branches, it is still lacking a lot of awareness in the community, and it has not yet created that kind of a luster, for itself when it comes to taking a career or selection of a career after 12th standard. Maybe once people go into their work and they get into the corporate world, and that is the time when they start realizing the importance of doing management study for their career growth. But the business by itself as a career, it is still lacking some kind of motivation or some kind of pushing into the community. The understanding of it is lacking. So businesses have a platter of activities that have to be kept in line for the proper functioning of business, so that it grows in all respects and achieves a name in the marketplace. The dynamics and success factors for any business to succeed are extremely difficult to understand according to the different markets, where frequency of the changing market demands is very high. And business management basically deals with management and handling of all the business activities that include and pertain to customer supervision, administration of finance, accounting, and marketing aspects of a business. Now, presently, business management has emerged as one of the major career options against the mainstream career prospects like what we had in our time. We knew only probably, medicine and engineering. And so when we were in 10th and we were in 12th standard, all that we knew, either we could go into medicine or we could go into engineering. We didn't know probably anything besides that. But the career fields are ever expanding. There are thousands of career. What I have come to know is there are almost 1,500 career options available. And definitely a career in business management is one of the most lucrative career aspects if the student has the right kind of aptitude for it. And we have taken one webinar which deals specifically is about the aptitude for the career selection, or how you would check your liking or your strengths and weaknesses, whether a particular career is suited for you or no. So do go back to our YouTube channel, which is with the name Team Talk, and that a career guidance webinar which tells you about how to go for a selection of a particular career is very much there. You can refer to that. And with that, along with that, now we are having a series of careers wherein we are bringing experts to you to guide you regarding specific careers. Last time we had a career on engineering and other PCB options. Today we have brought to you Mr. Amitendra Kumar, who is with Career Launcher, a leading educational institute. He is going to guide us on a career in business and management. And before I go on to introduce our speaker for today, I would like to announce our next, just one second, the webinar which we are having for the next session, that is on 12th of June. We are having Honorable Commissioner of Kalyan Dombili Municipal Corporation, who is an IAS officer himself, Dr. Vijay Suryavanshi, who's going to be speaking about career in civil services, one of the most prestigious career options that a student can go for after graduation. So mind you, this career option is available after graduation, but there is no harm in knowing about it after 10th standard onwards, so that you can prepare your journey accordingly and you can plan your career ahead accordingly.
You actually gave a start already before the introduction. So you spoke a little bit about business management. So I'm sure students, parents, they already have a clarity कि मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ आज इसके session में. And as we discussed before the start of the session, and for the audience which is attending right now, I'll keep my session in English mode. So that everybody is comfortable. I know we have students, parents from different social backgrounds. So not everybody would be that comfortable with English. So मैं पूरी कोशिश करूंगा जहाँ जहाँ पे opportunity होगी मैं हिंदी में भी बात करूंगा or English as I would say. So let me share my presentation before we begin. And I think whenever we have visuals, it's already is good for the people to connect with. So I hope my presentation is visible to everyone. As we all know, today we are going to talk about careers in business management. And as Dr. Archana said, this is one profession which not many people think about, and she talked about her time, and in fact that was relevant for my time as well. But unfortunately, even today, a lot of youngsters, आज के वक्त में भी बहुत सारे youngsters ऐसे हैं जिनको different career opportunities के बारे में पता ही नहीं है. मतलब the issue is the lack of awareness, and this is where it becomes important. Like organization like yours, we come together and we do keep on doing such sessions, and that has what has kept me motivated for last 17 years. Whenever I get an opportunity to interact with students, especially, I talk about different careers with them actually, because I remember my time. Even at my time, we would hardly know about engineering and medicine, and especially the place where I was born and brought up. Medicine was also a second choice. The first choice was being an industrial township. The natural choice was to become an engineer, actually. We would hardly know about, and despite being one of the best educational cities rated high by some of the media houses where I was born, we never had the knowledge about different other professions like business management, or even for that matter law as a profession today, which is very much upcoming and most sought after today among the science graduates, actually science students. They're very surprisingly. So one thing which becomes very important is to keep doing this webinars, keep doing these sessions where people get the opportunity to do more about, and I'm sure over a period of time, we will definitely be able to make changes in the lives, as Dr. Pingles said. Very important to understand, very important to know about career opportunities at the beginning so that you have a joyous life. That is very, very important. I think that was a wonderful statement he made at the beginning of this session. So let me first set the agenda. क्या बात करने वाले हैं आज? I think that gives us a direction. People should know what I'm going to talk about. So first of all, we'll try to understand why there is a need for management professional. Why businesses need managers. That becomes very, very important. Why one should study business management. See, management has always been debated, whether it is a profession or not. There is a debate still going on. So many of the intellectuals do not believe management as a profession because they believe that is something which comes naturally, actually, and it's an inherent skill. So there's a lot of debate around that. We'll not get into that. मैं उस debate में नहीं पढ़ूंगा. But I would talk about why one should definitely study business management if you are planning to make a career in the corporate world, as well as if you want to become an entrepreneur. अगर आपके पास अपना business idea है, then you should definitely study business management. It becomes very, very important. Then what are the different career opportunities? When you study business management program, जब आप study करते हैं, उसके बाद क्या opportunities हैं? Is it limited? Is it a long list we are going to talk about? So that becomes very, very important. But more important at the same time is to know where I should study it from. See, there is no dearth of colleges or institutions around the country. Whatever courses or career we talk about, there has never been a dearth. And with every passing day, we do see that there are a lot of new institutions coming up. But are they really worth it? That becomes very, very important. So which are the right places? Which are the right places I should go, right institutions? And how do I get into this? So whenever you talk about something being important, kuch quality ki baat karte hain, so the journey slightly is difficult. And here that difficulty would be that if you want to study this program, you'll definitely have to get into a good institution, और उसके लिए आपको कुछ important entrance exams लिखने पड़ेंगे. So it's not that easy to get into those institutions if you have not planned well, if you have not studied well in that sense. So this is what I'm going to cover today. And at the end, definitely, as usual, we'll have question answers. And I'll be very glad if people can come forward and have their doubts clear. So let us begin this session with the first point, which is why there is a need for management profession. As Dr. Archana started, and she mentioned what exactly is business management. Business management, let's keep it very simple. Let's not make it complicated. उसको बहुत simple तरीके से समझते हैं. Business management is basically planning, organizing, and analyzing of business activities. So जो भी business daily business activities हैं, उसकी planning करना, उसको organize करना, एक structure देना, और उसको analyze करना. whether it is in the right direction, that becomes very, very important. So whether it will yield me results, uske kya results nikal ke aayenge. So business ke aspects se, these are the three broader functions when you talk about business management. But if you talk about today, in the last few decades, the businesses have grown, especially when we go back to the early 90s, jab हमने देखा when liberalization of Indian economy happened, globalization की हम जब बात करते हैं, so when we allowed multinational corporations to come to our country, we learned a lot from them actually, and today we see our businesses are expanding. So with ever growing business environment today, and where there is no geographical boundaries, there is nothing called geographical boundaries when it comes to businesses today. We also see that ownership is separating from the business. So if somebody wants to, even if somebody has started a venture, family business hai, but you'll see कि जो ownership है, वो management professionals say linked nahi hai. Management professionals are the people who are handling the company, while despite this being a family business actually. And with ever growing competitive business environment, the multinational corporations, the companies, the corporates, they are in greater need of management professionals. आज के डेट में management professionals की requirement बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई है. जिस तरीके के business environment में हम जी रहे हैं, जिस तरीके के competitive environment में हम रह रहे हैं, वो businesses के aspect पे अगर हम बात करें, so आज के डेट में management professionals की demand बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ चुकी है. But unfortunately, the debate today is about quantity versus quality. क्या हम वो quality managers दे पा रहे हैं organization को? That is the debate which is, I think, more relevant instead of the quantity. There's no dearth of professional, but are they able to deliver what is required for the businesses? That is very, very important. So in that sense, it becomes very important that one should, any person who's planning to get into the corporate world, any person who wants to become a business leader for the future, I think for them it is a greater need to go and study business management program. But there's a lot which this business management program has to offer. Why this is one of the most preferred choices among the young graduates today? क्यों लोग MBA करना चाहते हैं? क्यों लोग BBA करना चाहते हैं? Because there are certain skills which you get to learn while you are there inside in the institution, when you are part of a management program, business management program. आपको बहुत सारी ऐसी skills देखने को मिल जाती हैं, सीखने को मिल जाती हैं, जो शायद आप बाहर उसको acquire नहीं कर सकते हैं. और उसमें से जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है, जो हम बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, प्लानिंग, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग, एनालाइजिंग, ये जो बिजनेस स्किल्स है, बिजनेस नॉलेज है, वो पहली चीज है जो एक बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम आपको इम्पार्ट करती है. The second aspect is employability, because businesses need good people, businesses need managers, businesses need leaders for the future. So जो employability aspect है वो बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है. आप जो skills यहाँ पे learn करते हैं, critical thinking skills, strategic thinking skills जो आपको पढ़ाई जाती हैं यहाँ पे, communication skills के ऊपर focus होता है, interpersonal skills के ऊपर focus होता है, organizing, presenting. So all these skills is something which only a business management program is able to impart to the people actually. Moreover, whichever program you are in, आप किसी भी program में हो, आप चाहे undergraduate program में हो या postgraduate program में हो, आप BBA कर रहे हो या MBA कर रहे हो, you have such pedagogy wherein you get exposed to practical knowledge. I think there are very few programs, there are very few courses where you have the opportunity to go for practical knowledge. And this is what comes through internships and the life projects which you do with the business houses. So you learn a lot about how a business unit functions. So depending on your internship opportunity, आपको ये पता चलेगा कि एक marketing vertical कैसे काम करता है, एक finance का vertical कैसे काम करता है, human resource managers कैसे काम करते हैं. If you are looking forward to a career in operations management, where you get an opportunity to go inside the manufacturing units and other places, you learn how operations are handled in these organizations, how these units work actually. So this is another program, very few of them are there actually, where you get exposed to practical knowledge through these internships and life projects opportunities, which are embedded as part of the program. They are part of the program pedagogy, part of the curriculum itself. Many people believe management is all about leadership. No, management is not just about leadership. Management is also about teamwork. Management is also about networking. And I think when we talk about these alumni networks, बहुत हम बात करते हैं alumni networks की different colleges में, you must have come across those who are graduate students. If you are attending this session today, in your college you talk about alumni networks. This is something which is not there in the schools, all the schools. Most of the schools also do that. Why this becomes very, very important, especially in the field of business management. An alumni network gives you an opportunity to connect with people who have already graduated, who are placed at respectable position in those organizations. And this is where networking comes into picture. And for any for any business management professional, networking is something which is very, very important from your career growth perspective. Who knows, tomorrow when you have an idea, a business idea which you can scale up, you become an entrepreneur. You never know, you can find your next business partner in your college itself, maybe a senior, or your business partner, maybe a senior or your peer itself actually. So most importantly, at the same time, especially if you are planning to take forward your family business which is already there, I think जो फैमिली बिजनेसेस होते थे पुराने समय में, वो एक particular direction में ही move करते थे. People were not worried about whether we should definitely have managers who can give directions to the different units and we can expand. But younger generation today, even if they want to get into their own family business, they want to expand, they want to take it globally, they want to take it to different places. I think for them also this program becomes very, very important. So it is for this key management skills, the employability factor, if you talk about the introduction to the business world which this program is able to give to the students, I think business management becomes very as a program becomes very, very relevant for people who see a future in the corporate world, who see a future in themselves becoming an entrepreneur or carrying forward their family business. Now, if you talk about business management as a program, one can study these programs at different levels. It depends at what stage you are in. That is very, very important. So contrary to the belief, जो लोगों की conditioning है over the period of time, जो knowledge है, अगर हम उसकी बात करें, तो when it comes to management program, लोग ये सोचते हैं कि MBA is the program which everybody talks about. तो अगर मुझे corporate world में जाना है, so the only program which I can think of is Master of Business Administration, and that is what will lead me to the multinational corporations in whatever role or whatever interest or discipline I want to get into. While MBA can also be known by different names, you sometimes will hear about PGP, postgraduate program in management, or a postgraduate diploma in management. These are mere terminologies depending on which institution is imparting it. So अगर कोई यूनिवर्सिटी होगा तो आपको MBA मिलेगा because that is the name of the degree. But अगर कोई autonomous institution होगा, private college होगा, या autonomous institution गवर्नमेंट के अंदर ही होगा, तो वो चूंकि यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं है तो वो MBA नहीं बोलते हैं, बट वो PGDM बोलते हैं या PGP बोलते हैं. डिफरेंस कुछ नहीं है, मतलब it all depends on the quality of the institution, not on the nomenclature of the program. But unfortunately, the most of the young people even today in this digital world, हम digital world की बात करते हैं, youngsters spend a lot of time on YouTube, on internet, but when it comes to career, I think very few students, very few people actually search internet or search YouTube to know more about that actually. And this is what is more relevant and more true for the business management program at the undergraduate level. So अगर हम UG level की बात करें, class 12 की बात करें, so there are already programs available. तो मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि आप undergraduate level पे management study नहीं कर सकते हैं, आप बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं, और ये कोई नया phenomenon नहीं है, बहुत सालों से, decades से रहा है. But the unfortunate part is कि लोगों ने इसके ऊपर focus नहीं किया है, students ने focus नहीं किया है. I think partly as individuals we are also to be blamed. हम शायद उतनी बातें नहीं करते हैं, most of us because people want us to speak about those options जहाँ पे मतलब पूरी दुनिया जा रही है, so वो aspect आ जाता है. But even at the undergraduate level there are a lot of programs available. In fact there is something which is starting as a trend in our country. I'll be talking about a little in a short while about that. But undergrad level पे भी आप business management study कर सकते हैं. BBA program है, BBS है, BMS है. यहाँ पे भी चीजें वही हैं, सेम प्रोग्राम है, डिफरेंट नोमेनक्लेचर है, डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटीज डिफरेंट तरीके से उस प्रोग्राम को बुलाती हैं. बट अगर आप कॉलेज में जाओगे और आप अगर करिकुलम को कंपेयर करोगे, बीबीए हो गया, बीएमएस हो गया, तो उसमें आप कोई डिफरेंस नहीं देखोगे, लेकिन डिफरेंट नेम्स दिए हैं. तो बहुत बार ऐसा भी होता है कि कुछ स्टूडेंट्स जो थोड़े अवेयर होते हैं वो कंफ्यूज भी हो जाते हैं कि बीएमएस करना चाहिए या बीबीए करना चाहिए. सो उनके लिए ये क्लैरिटी होना बहुत जरूरी है कि एक ही प्रोग्राम है, डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटीज ने उसको डिफरेंट नाम दिया हुआ है, तो उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. बट ये अपॉर्चुनिटीज एज एजुकेशन, एज प्रोग्राम की अगर हम बात करें, तो वो लिमिटेड नहीं है कि आप किस स्टेज में हैं. इवन इफ यू आर अ वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल, आप पिछले कुछ सालों से काम कर रहे हैं, आपको पहले शायद इसकी जानकारी नहीं थी, या फॉर सम अदर रीजन, मे बी फाइनेंशियल रीजन इन द फैमिली, आपने ऑलरेडी जॉब ज्वाइन कर लिया था, आपने अपने करियर की शुरुआत कर ली थी, बट कहीं ना कहीं जाके अब आपको रियलाइज होता है कि मेरा जो ग्रोथ है, जो करियर ग्रोथ है, वो कहीं ना कहीं अब स्टक कर गया है, बिकॉज जो मेरे पीयर्स हैं उनके पास बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट की डिग्री है, मेरे पास नहीं है. एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली लोगों को लगता है कि मैं वापस अब कैसे जाकर के वापस से बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट में जॉब छोड़ नहीं सकता हूं, मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं, मेरे अपने कुछ ड्रीम्स हैं, तो मैं जॉब छोड़ करके वापस नहीं जा सकता हूं स्टडी करने के लिए. सो इवन फॉर दोज पीपल हु आर वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स इन डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, most of the bigger institutions have executive programs as well as business leadership program. So आपको वहां पे जॉब छोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है अगर आपने अपने करियर को ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट दे दिया है और आपको अब रियलाइज होता है कि आई वांट टू स्टडी बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट एंड दैट विल गिव मी दैट स्टिमुलस व्हिच इज रिक्वायर्ड. वो एक पुश दे सकता है मेरे करियर को, मेरे ग्रोथ को. तो आप एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रोग्राम्स ज्वाइन कर सकते हो जहां पे आप अपना जॉब कंटिन्यू करते हुए साथ में आप लर्न कर सकते हो बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट का. डिपेंडिंग ऑन द इंस्टीट्यूशन आप 2 साल या 3 साल का ये प्रोग्राम आपको मिलेगा. वर्किंग आवर्स के बाद मोस्टली इवनिंग क्लासेस होती हैं या वीकेंड क्लासेस होती हैं, सैटरडे संडे को क्लासेस होती हैं. और जितने भी बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं इंक्लूडिंग आईएम्स, मैं इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट की भी बात कर रहा हूं, जितने भी बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं वो डेफिनेटली एग्जीक्यूटिव मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम्स ऑफर करती हैं जिसमें वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स को अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती है स्टडी करने की. ऐसे भी प्रोग्राम्स हैं जहां पे साल में 1 या 2 दिन के लिए आपको कैंपस जाना पड़ेगा, बाकी ऑनलाइन क्लासेस होती हैं, तो आपको जॉब से कॉम्प्रोमाइज करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली थोड़ा सा मैं टाइम स्पेंड करना चाहूंगा एक नए अपॉर्चुनिटी के बारे में which is emerging now in our country, and I think this is where the future of management education is, especially for the youngsters who are in class 10th 11th and 12th right now, and parents jinke bacche abhi is age group mein hain. We have now something called integrated program in management. क्या है ये? एक्चुअली इसको बहुत सिंपल तरीके से अगर हम देखते हैं, इफ यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इट इन अ वेरी सिंपलर फॉर्मेट, it's basically BBA plus MBA ka integration. So you get into the program immediately after your class 12th and the duration of the program is 5 years. So aap BBA pehle padhte hain 3 saal mein और next 2 years you complete your MBA. So why suddenly this phenomenon? All of a sudden ऐसा क्या हो गया कि suddenly institutions are going to towards this direction जहाँ पे वो लोग क्लास 12 स्टूडेंट्स को अपॉर्चुनिटी दे रहे हैं कि यू जॉइन अस आफ्टर योर क्लास 12 फॉर 5-year प्रोग्राम rather than doing something else in your graduation and then do an MBA program. So इसके पीछे बहुत सारे रीजंस हैं, बहुत सारे कंसेप्ट्स की बात कर सकते हैं. एक तो जब हम करियर की बात करते हैं तो करियर अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्या होता है कि हम कोई भी लोग सीधा डायरेक्शन नहीं देते. हम जब स्कूल में थे तो हमने एक मैथमेटिक्स में एक कंसेप्ट पढ़ा था जो हम करियर में तो बिल्कुल अप्लाई नहीं करते हैं कि अगर आपको एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट पे जाना है तो बेस्ट तरीका होता है कि आप स्ट्रेट लाइन में मूव करें, आप इधर उधर ना जाएं, बिल्कुल स्ट्रेट लाइन में मूव करें. But unfortunately, most of us do not apply this to our careers. So what happens today, if you see most of the management professionals, they first do an engineering, they first do a BCom, they first do a BSc, and there are a lot of youngsters I see today, they first study law and then do an MBA program. While for some of them, it is about the interest. They wanted those dual specializations. They wanted to have those areas also as part of their learning opportunities. And but then there are a lot of youngsters who are clear right from day one when they are in school. I'm sure there are people who are attending today, youngsters who are in class 10, 12, probably. They are clear that in due course of time, I'll be doing an MBA, but they are not sure what is the path I should be taking. I think this is where IPM comes into your help, basically, I would say, because IPM क्या है? Basically, it's the first 3 years is basically your foundation. The foundation is being created for you. The knowledge is being imparted to you, which will help you in the last 2 years where you get those business acumen, where you learn those skills over there actually. So fortunately, this trend was started by none other than but an IIM itself, Indian Institute of Management. और जहां तक नॉलेज का सवाल है, लोगों को क्लैरिटी है कि जब हम बात करते हैं मैनेजमेंट की, तो जो बेस्ट प्लेसेस हैं, बेस्ट इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, बेस्ट कॉलेजेस हैं, वो इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट ही हैं. करेंटली 20 IIMs हैं कंट्री में, एंड दे आर रेटेड वेरी हाईली बेस्ट प्लेसेस अगर आप बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट का प्रोग्राम स्टडी करना चाहते हैं. सो ये ट्रेंड उभर के आ रहा है. मैं थोड़ा सा टाइम इस पे आगे चलकर भी स्पेंड करूंगा, स्पेशली फॉर आवर यंगस्टर्स टुडे, एंड व्हाई इट इज इजी आल्सो टू गेट इनटू दिस प्रोग्राम टुडे. जो डॉक्टर अर्चना ने स्टार्टिंग में बात की थी और जो मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले बात की थी, कि जो अवेयरनेस फैक्टर है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो ये आईपीएम प्रोग्राम की अवेयरनेस है वो अभी भी नहीं है. बहुत कम लोग जानते हैं इसके बारे में. मैं जब डिफरेंट प्लेसेस जाता हूँ, डिफरेंट स्कूल्स अक्रॉस द कंट्री, व्हेन आई एम टेकिंग सेमिनार्स on different career opportunities, and even today when we are talking about this program in 2022, when I'm talking to parents, when I'm talking to school principals and teachers, you'll be surprised not many of them are aware that today a student can get into an IIM immediately after class 12. सो IIM मतलब लोगों को लगता है कि IIM पहले ग्रेजुएशन करना होगा, पहले कोई प्रोफेशनल प्रोग्राम करना होगा which is equivalent to graduation, and then we can only go for an MBA program, which is not the case today. The second option, there's a second reason to start this program by most of the institution is, I'm sure आप में से कुछ लोगों ने नेशनल जो अपना NEP है, एजुकेशन पॉलिसी है, जो 2020 में अनवील हुआ था, जिसको करंटली गवर्नमेंट पुश दे रही है, तो उसमें क्या है, उसमें सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस को एक डायरेक्टिव है, फ्यूचर में सभी को मेगा कैंपसेस बनने हैं, सभी को डिफरेंट डिसिप्लिन स्टार्ट करने हैं. आप एक ही डिसिप्लिन में ऑपरेट नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो ग्रेजुअली आप देखेंगे कि IITs जो हैं वो आपको ह्यूमैनिटीज के भी कोर्सेज ऑफर कर रहे होंगे. ऑलरेडी ये ट्रेंड स्टार्ट हो चुका है. अगर आप IIT मुंबई की बात करोगे तो वहां पे इस साल से लिबरल आर्ट्स का प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट हो रहा है. इनिशियल अपॉर्चुनिटी उन स्टूडेंट्स को दी जाएगी जिन्होंने लास्ट ईयर इंजीनियरिंग प्रोग्राम ज्वाइन किया था, उसमें से 30 स्टूडेंट्स को ये अपॉर्चुनिटी दी जाएगी फॉर दिस प्रोग्राम नोन एज लेस. उन्होंने इसका नाम लेस रखा है, लिबरल आर्ट्स साइंस एंड इंजीनियरिंग. इन फ्यूचर आई एम श्योर ये प्रोग्राम जनरल पब्लिक को अलाउ कर दिया जाएगा, आपको सिर्फ इंजीनियरिंग के लिए ही नहीं आना पड़ेगा वहां पे. सिमिलरली लास्ट ईयर there is a committee which has been formed जहां पे IIT दिल्ली ह्यूमैनिटीज कोर्सेज स्टार्ट करने की बात कर रहा है. तो बहुत जल्द ऐसा भी होगा जब आप IITs में BA ऑनर्स की स्टडी कर रहे होंगे, आप हिस्ट्री की स्टडी कर रहे होंगे, आप पॉलिटिकल साइंस की स्टडी कर रहे होंगे. सो कुछ चॉइसेस हैं, कुछ कंपल्शन है, क्योंकि हमारा जो ग्रॉस एनरोलमेंट रेशियो है हमारे कंट्री का वो बहुत ही कम है. आज की डेट में भी 27% है. जो क्लास 12 के बाद जो स्टूडेंट्स फॉर्मल एजुकेशन में जाते हैं वो रेशियो बहुत ही कम है. तो इसको गवर्नमेंट इंप्रूव करना चाहती है, इसको 50% लेकर जाना चाहती है अगले कुछ सालों में. गवर्नमेंट चाहती है कि लोग पढ़ें, ग्रेजुएशन करें, वोकेशनल स्किल्स गेन करें, जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिले उन लोगों को. सो बाय चॉइस, बाय कंपल्शन कहीं ना कहीं इंस्टीट्यूशंस को डाइवर्सिफाई करना है. तो ये भी एक कारण है, एक तरीका बहुत आसान सा है जिसके थ्रू हम मूव कर सकते हैं. ऐसे भी इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं जिनको लॉ के लिए जाना जाता है बट वो आज IPM प्रोग्राम ऑफर कर रहे हैं. ट्रिपल IIT जो इलाहाबाद है वो स्टार्ट करने वाला है. तो ये फ्यूचर है मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन का. ग्रेजुअली हम देखेंगे कि यंगस्टर्स क्लास 12 के बाद ही इस फील्ड में एंटर कर रहे हैं। मेरे पास बहुत सारे सवाल ये आते हैं कि किस डिसिप्लिन में या कौन कौन से ऐसे डिसिप्लिन हैं जो मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन में हम स्टडी कर सकते हैं। सो जो ग्लोबल ट्रेंड है आज के डेट में, विच ग्रेजुअली हम धीरे धीरे अडॉप्ट करते जा रहे हैं, जो ग्लोबल ट्रेंड है वो अब डिसिप्लिन को खत्म कर रहे हैं। अब कोई भी बड़ा बी स्कूल जो होगा अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, अब वो आपको किसी पर्टिकुलर फील्ड में स्पेशलाइज करने की अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं देता है। इंस्टेड दे वांट यू टू फोकस ऑन लर्निंग एवरी सब्जेक्ट, क्योंकि फ्यूचर को अगर आप देखते हो, सो व्हेन यू गेट इनटू द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, आप जब कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड में एंटर करते हो, यू कांट रिमेन एज अ हार्डकोर फाइनेंस गाय और मार्केटिंग गाय, क्योंकि उसकी एक लिमिटेशन है। आप एक लिमिट तक ही फिर ग्रो कर पाओगे। टुमारो इफ यू वांट टू बिकम द सीईओज, द सीएक्सओज ऑफ द कंपनी, आप ये नहीं बोल सकते हैं, यू कांट से दैट आई एम वेरी गुड इन मार्केटिंग, आई डोंट नो अबाउट फाइनेंस, बिकॉज आई नेवर फोकस्ड ऑन दैट एक्चुअली। As a CXO, as a CEO of the organization, you are responsible for the organization itself. You should know everybody. I'll just give you an example. And मैं इसको थोड़ा relate करूंगा महाराष्ट्र से ही। आप सबने चंदा कोचर का नाम जरूर सुना होगा। आईसीआईसीआई बैंक की हेड थी। सो ऑफ लेट मतलब डिफरेंट रीजंस की वजह से मीडिया में रही हैं, but we must acknowledge the kind of growth, the kind of career she pursued. She was a graduate in, I believe, a graduate in finance from one of the most reputed institutions in Mumbai, Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, JBIMS, जिसको हम इंडिया के बेस्ट इंस्टीट्यूशंस में रेट करते हैं। वहां से उन्होंने अपना एमबीए किया था और ग्रेजुअली आईसीआईसीआई बैंक में ही उनका ग्रोथ होता चला गया, एंड शी वेंट ऑन टू बिकम द मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर ऑफ द बैंक, वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट बैंक्स इन आवर कंट्री. Chanda Kochar was she did her specialization in finance, but she went on to head a bank where she was responsible even for the employee asset, human resources, the marketing vertical and everything. So global trend धीरे धीरे ये emerge करके आ रहा है, because organizations want people who know everything. They should not be a specialist. But अभी भी हमारे यहाँ पे अभी ये trend continue है. So there are different specializations, there are different disciplines which you can pursue in most of the institutions you get into, depending on your interest. If you don't know about your interest, that you can learn about when you are inside the institution, when you start studying about these disciplines, and when you are interning during the program, or when you are doing live projects, you'll get to know more about this discipline. So जरूरी नहीं है कि आपको आज के डेट में ये पता हो कि which is the vertical. आपको ये पता है कि मुझे business field में जाना है, but you may not know which is the vertical I want to get into. So don't take any pressure. You get into the institution, and through this learning environment, through this syllabus, the pedagogy, when you learn about all this, plus opportunities which you get through internship, you'll get to know, and the various disciplines like marketing, finance, human resources, operations, international business, and in today's time, business analytics as a program. So there is a lot of data is being handled today, and data presents a lot of insight when it comes to businesses. So business analytics as a program is a new discipline which has come up. So there are a lot of different areas which you can study. Information technology mein management kar sakte hain. So there are various disciplines, depending on your interest, you can pick that up. So just like some of the other career opportunities, यहाँ पे भी आपको बहुत सारे specialization opportunities हैं. आप किसी एक particular field को pick up करके आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. What are the different career opportunities? Is it limited? No. Fortunately, management is one program जहाँ पे opportunities की कमी नहीं है. You do not have to worry about career opportunities. Depending on your aspiration, depending on your career goal, you could be a management consultant, you could be a marketing manager, आप एक investment banker हो सकते हैं, आप एक business analyst हो सकते हैं, आप financial matters में enter करके लोगों को financial advice दे सकते हैं, human resource managers within the organizations who handle the people of the organization, the recruitment, the planning and all, product manager, just like I am in an organization, operations manager. And beyond that, you can also be an administrative manager, or you can get into your own family business and take it forward. And management also gives you an opportunity to become an author and a commentator. I'm sure you understand मैं किस direction में जा रहा हूँ. So today you see the best authors, the most the highly rated and जिनकी novels, जिनकी books सबसे ज्यादा बिकती हैं. If you talk about अमीश की हम बात कर ले, अमीश त्रिपाठी की बात कर ले, रवि सुब्रमण्यम की बात कर ले, या for that matter अगर हम चेतन भगत की बात करें, all of them are IIM alumni. They have studied business management. Chetan Bhagat also comes from an IIT background, but he went on to pursue his management from IIM Ahmedabad. Commenting की बात करते हैं, commentary की बात करते हैं. I think one of the names which all of us talk about और हम जिनकी बहुत appreciate करते हैं, जिनको बहुत appreciate करते हैं, हर्षा भोगले. I think not coming from a cricket field, but I think उनसे अच्छा commentator अगर personally आप मुझसे पूछेंगे तो मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा. हर्षा comes from an IIM background. He is an IIM Ahmedabad graduate. तो अपॉर्चुनिटीज की कोई लिमिटेशंस नहीं है. ऑफ बीट अपॉर्चुनिटीज, एक ऑथर, एक कमेंटेटर की तरह भी आप आ सकते हैं. व्हाई दीज पीपल आर सक्सेसफुल इन दिस एरियाज? बिकॉज इफ यू गो बैक a little back in my session, you'll realize I spoke about something called communication skills. This is one program which focuses a lot on that. So communication का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि आप कैसे बोल रहे हैं, आप कैसे प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, वो भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. तो बोलना और लिखना एक अलग स्किल होता है, प्रेजेंट करना एक अलग स्किल होता है. और बिकॉज यहाँ पे उसके रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत ज्यादा है, बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट की, एक मैनेजर खुद को कैसे प्रेजेंट करता है, खुद कैसे कम्युनिकेट करता है, वो इंटरपर्सनल स्किल. आई थिंक दिस इज व्हाट हेल्प दिस गाइज ऑल्स वेल. नेचुरल टैलेंट होता ही है, बट ये डेफिनेटली दीज आर द स्किल्स यू लर्न विद इन द प्रोग्राम. सो बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम की अगर हम बात करें, सो मूविंग ऑन, आई थिंक ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है. बहुत लोगों को यहाँ पे कंफ्यूजन होता है कि जैसे ही मैं एमबीए करूंगा मैं सीईओ बन जाऊंगा कंपनी का. नहीं, इतना आसान नहीं होता है. अनलेस आपका फैमिली बिजनेस है, अनलेस आपने कोई स्टार्टअप आइडिया है आपके पास, you have an idea which you believe you can scale it up, so you want to become an entrepreneur. So obviously आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, आप सीईओ रहें, आप सीएफओ बने, वो आपकी मर्जी पे है. बट अगर आप प्रोफेशनली किसी बिजनेस को रन करना चाहते हैं तो आई थिंक आपको आप उस तरीके से भी नहीं करेंगे. एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली इज टू अंडरस्टैंड you need a lot of learning within the organization. So अगर हम एक करियर पाथवे देखें एक स्टूडेंट का, एक मैनेजमेंट ग्रेजुएट का, तो कुछ तय समय सीमा है जो एवरेज अगर हम बात करें वो लगती हैं. सो आपका प्रोग्राम जब आप कंप्लीट हो जाएगा और आपकी जब हायरिंग हो जाएगी, मोस्ट ऑफ द कंपनीज हायर यू एज मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनी. आज की डेट में ज्यादातर कंपनीज मैनेजमेंट ग्रेजुएट्स को किसी पर्टिकुलर रोल की बजाय मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनी के तौर पे हायर करती हैं. What they do is you are made to learn everything. So आप भले ही मार्केटिंग फील्ड शायद आपने स्पेशलाइजेशन किया होगा ड्यूरिंग योर कोर्स ऑफ स्टडी, जब आप बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट पढ़ रहे थे, वेदर बीबीए और एनएमबीए, बट व्हेन यू आर हायर्ड एज अ मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनी यू आर एक्सपोज्ड टू एवरी डिविजन, एवरी वर्टिकल. सो आपको फिनेंस में भी ले जाया जाएगा, आपको ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज में भी ले जाएगा, एंड देन दे विल फिगर आउट व्हिच इज द राइट पाथ फॉर यू. So management trainee is a trend which we have seen over a period of time. Organization, instead of hiring people directly for some particular unit or vertical, they hire people and then they learn as well. They make you learn and they also understand which is the right path for you as well, actually. So over a period of next 5-6 years, you'll spend your time in a functional role, being part of the junior management profile. Then after you have got those 5-6 years of experience handling a vertical, handling a unit, you get into the middle management segment where you now have the responsibility to lead people, where you will have a team, and gradually over a period of time you move into the senior management profile, and then where you are taking strategic decisions for the company. तो आप जब सीनियर मैनेजमेंट रोल पे आ जाएंगे तो यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर ऑल दी स्ट्रैटेजीज बीइंग प्लान्ड, फ्यूचर कैसा होगा कंपनी का, किस डायरेक्शन में मूव करना है, एंड ऑब्वियसली फ्रॉम देयर ऑन यू बिकम द सीईओज एंड द सीएक्सओज ऑफ द कंपनी. सो यू गो टू द टॉप लेवल. सो दिस इज द ग्रेजुअल पाथ फॉर एनी मैनेजमेंट ग्रेजुएट. So just like any other profession, nothing comes on a platter. You will have to work hard for it. आपको मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, आपको अपने पोटेंशियल को प्रूव करना पड़ेगा, अपने टैलेंट को प्रूव करना पड़ेगा. nothing comes easy in life. अगर shortcut से मिला तो फिर आगे future में फिर problem होगी. So you'll have to really work hard. So these are the timelines. अगर आप देखोगे तो पहले 6-7 साल आपको junior role में रहना पड़ेगा, फिर आप middle management में move करते हैं, फिर आप strategic role में move करते हैं, senior management, where you start taking decisions for the future, how to move ahead, take ahead the business in the current competitive environment अगर हम बात करें तो. Now, to get all this, you have to first get into a business management program, and for that, very important is to know which are the right places. Colleges की कमी नहीं है, institutions की कमी नहीं है. There are thousands, just like Dr. Archana said, there are 1,500 career opportunities. In fact, if I extend it a little bit, what she mentioned, I think that there would be more. 1,500 is what we hear about, we see about. Today, if you look at, people are making career out of their hobbies, out of their interest. So who knows, people today are traveling, they are becoming vloggers, they are becoming bloggers actually, and when they are posting their videos on YouTubes and Instagrams and other social media platforms, they are making a lot of money out of that. People are watching, these people are getting a lot of money out of that. So their passion has now become their profession. So बहुत सारे ऐसी चीजें जिनके बारे में शायद हमें awareness भी नहीं है. And I would say that would be true for me as well. So but then getting into the right institution is very important. 1,000 colleges hain, but which all of them will not be able to provide you that quality. And as I said in the beginning, it's a conundrum between quality versus quantity. That is what stage we are in. So for every career, this holds true. हर career में ये बात एक सच्चाई है, कड़वा सच इसको आप समझ लीजिए कि इंस्टीट्यूशंस के बारे में आपको बहुत सेलेक्टिव होना पड़ेगा. वंस यू हैव आइडेंटिफाइड कि आपको किस कोर्स की रिक्वायरमेंट है अपने करियर के ऊपर, then I think the next big step is to identify the institution. That is very important. So undergrad level की अगर हम बात करें, after class 12th अगर हम बात करें, मैं IPM की separately बात करूंगा, तो उसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें जो 3-year business management program है, BBA, BMS, BBM for that matter, so उसमें जो बेस्ट कॉलेजेस हैं कंट्री में, अनफॉर्चुनेटली थोड़े लिमिटेड हैं अंडरग्रेड लेवल पे, अनलाइक पोस्ट ग्रेड लेवल, लेकिन बहुत सारे अच्छे कॉलेजेस हैं. जैसे हम शहीद सुखदेव कॉलेज ऑफ बिजनेस स्टडीज की बात कर सकते हैं, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में. जब तक ये IPM का ट्रेंड नहीं आया था, शहीद सुखदेव वाज रेटेड नंबर 1 कॉलेज इन द कंट्री. फॉर शेयर फैक्टर की बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम अंडरग्रेड लेवल पे लोग प्लेसमेंट्स की बात नहीं करते थे क्योंकि बच्चा नेचुरली MBA करने जाएगा. But this college had always attracted best of the corporates, consultants, banking, insurance companies to their campus right from day one. Then we have Symbiosis Center for Management Studies, Pune, Noida, Hyderabad, other places. Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies University, the prime campus being located in Mumbai, South Mumbai. फिर Christ University है, St. Xavier's Mumbai is another good name you can talk about. So these are some of the best places where you can study business management program at the undergraduate level. अगर हम पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट, जो हमारा कॉलेज ऑडियंस है, जो स्टूडेंट्स जो अटेंड कर रहे हैं या जो पेरेंट्स जिनके बच्चे अभी कॉलेजेस में हैं, इफ दे वांट टू स्टडी बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट प्रोग्राम पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट लेवल, MBA प्रोग्राम की अगर हम बात करें, PGDM की बात करें, वी डू नॉट हैव डर्थ ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशन. बहुत सारे अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, और अगर 1,000 में से हम बात करें तो 30-40 तो बहुत ही अच्छे हैं, जिसमें से आपके 20 IMC हो जाते हैं, इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट, अहमदाबाद, बैंगलोर, कलकत्ता, लखनऊ, ये तो टॉप वाले हो ही गए. इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे IIMs हैं नए जो स्टार्ट हुए पिछले डिकेड में. इसके अलावा फैकल्टी ऑफ मैनेजमेंट स्टडीज है, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट cost-effective programs because it being a part of a central government university. Delhi University is a central government university, so everything is subsidized. So unlike the fees which are charged by other institutions, Faculty of Management Studies hardly charges anything in that sense actually. So one of the most cost-effective ROI perspective से this should definitely be on your list. फिर XLRI है जमशेदपुर में, one very good institution if somebody especially wants to learn human resource management. I think इससे अच्छा कॉलेज आप पूरे कंट्री में नहीं पाएंगे HRM को लेकर के. इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस अगर आपको स्टडी करना है, then you have Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, 3 locations, Delhi, Kolkata and Kakinada in Andhra Pradesh. MDI Gurgaon, again Government of India institution, start किसी और perspective से हुआ था, went on to become an MBA college, and today rated among the top 10 institutions in the country. Tata Institute of Social Sciences in Mumbai, MICA, Mudra Institute of Communications at Ahmedabad. If you're very keen to know and study about advertising and communications, ये जो जितने ads आप देखते हैं टीवी पे, रेडियो पे, जो jingles आते हैं, this is what you learn, public relations over here at MICA, one of the best institutions in the country. NMIMS in Mumbai and other places, JBIMS, as I spoke about, I gave you the example of Ms. Chanda Kocher, Symbiosis Institute of Business Management again. So these are some of the best names. और भी बहुत सारे colleges हैं, but these should definitely be on your list of choices when it comes to MBA colleges. अब आते हैं कुछ समय हम बिताते हैं, बिकॉज जैसे मैंने कहा था लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस है. ये जो इंटीग्रेटेड प्रोग्राम का ट्रेंड स्टार्ट हुआ था, दिस ऑल स्टार्टेड इन 2011 व्हेन IIM Indore took a call that it's time we should also keep our youngsters in focus, and somebody who's very clear कि मुझे फ्यूचर में मैनेजमेंट प्रोफेशनल ही बनना है, so let us give them direction right from day one. Instead of that student going for another program which may not have any link with what he or she has to do, let us give them an opportunity. उनको हम एक opportunity provide करते हैं right from day one. So the whole idea was to bring young minds into the system who want to get into a business management program at a later stage, and who want to be a management professional. So IIM Indore in the year 2011 started this integrated program in management. While it started in a different way by a different name, but today it's one of the programs which is, I would not say most sought after because of the lack of awareness. आप surprise हो जाएंगे कि IIM Indore में one of the top rated institutions है, but hardly 10,000-12,000 बच्चे इसका entrance लिखते हैं. And it is not about the competition. It is not about the toughness of the examination. It is more about awareness. Unfortunately, जो private B schools हैं, जो private colleges हैं, जिस तरीके के एडवर्टाइजमेंट वो कर सकते हैं, ये लोग नहीं कर सकते हैं. So they can't do because they don't have so much of funds and they don't advertise. So आप जब तक हमारा क्या है, जो हमारा माइंड होता है, हम जैसा मैंने कहा था, विजुअल्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जो हम चीजें देखते हैं, व्हाट वी सी इज व्हाट वी रिमेंबर. सो वी डोंट सी एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स फ्रॉम दीज इंस्टीट्यूशंस कमिंग आउट फुल पेज, हाफ पेज और इवन अ क्वार्टर पेज where they talk about this program. One of the reasons, and then partly to be blamed, I would say we experts are partly to be blamed. We don't talk enough about these actually, but then this is one of the finest programs, and I'll give you a reason why this is. When initially this started, there was a lot of apprehension among the general public. Will corporate accept this? That is very important. Because corporates ko MBA chahiye, but will this accept? And that has been well accepted actually. And over a period of time, now you see there are a lot of other IIMs which have started this program. And in fact, in due course of time, maybe in next couple of years, आप देखेंगे कि most of the IIMs have started this program. Most of the other institutions in the country have started this program. One of the reasons being national education, our national education policy itself. In fact, and on this platform, I would like to share one very important news. IIM Bangalore, जो लोग familiar हैं, they know it's one of the best institutions in the country. They are also about to start an undergraduate program from next year, 2023. That would be not a management program per se, that would be more of a liberal arts, but see how the opportunities are coming up. So it is very important for a student, for a parent, or for that matter, the general public to remain aware. Opportunities are being created, they're coming up. It's more about the awareness factor. इसके अलावा, apart from the IIMs, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IFT, one of the best B schools for international business, Nalsar University of Law, the so-called second best law college in the country today, and Nirma University, for this mistake, it's in Ahmedabad. They also run this 5-year integrated program, where the first 3-year pedagogy is focused towards creating the foundation for the next 2 years. But what makes an IPM different from the regular BBA, you know, BBA तो पहले से था, but suddenly ये BBA plus MBA ऐसा difference क्या हो गया? If you look at the course pedagogy, अगर आप इसकी course pedagogy को देखोगे, you'll realize it is very different from the regular management program. Who would have thought 10 years ago or maybe 20 years ago कि psychology must be taught in a business program? And I'll just give you one example. Tomorrow you want to become a human resource manager. And what is your role in an organization? You deal with whom? You deal with the most important asset. Unfortunately, most businesses don't treat humans as asset. They believe they are cost, employees are cost. But the bigger business entities, those who have grown exponentially, they know the importance of people in the organization. And this is where human resource personals come into picture. They are responsible for the well-being of their staff, for the employees. They are the ones who are interacting with them, and if you don't understand the psychology of a human mind, if you don't understand people, you can't be a great human resource manager. Unfortunately, none of the business programs ever incorporated psychology as a subject, but IPM does today. They realized its importance. Foreign languages never has been in focus in most of our programs, but today IPM makes it mandatory for you to study one of the most spoken foreign languages, whether it is Spanish, French, German, or Mandarin. You'll have to study one of them, because today the global boundaries have been wiped off. You are living in a digital world where, and also you are, even if you talk about geography, when you are higher up in an organization, you are traveling to different parts of the globe. Having known that language will really help you out. The culture is very, very important when you are in a different country. So all this aspects what makes you have mathematics as a program, you have fine arts as a program, you have sports as part of the program. So this is what makes IPM very different. And I think people should know about it. And that is what helps it create a good foundation for the future business leaders. Before I talk about choosing the right program for you, I would like to spend time on few thoughts I think very important for every student. देखो, one of the most important challenges is, मैं जब बात करता हूँ, मैं institutions की बात करता हूँ, what makes आप में से बहुत लोगों ने एक SRCC कॉलेज का नाम सुना होगा, श्रीराम कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स, और जब भी दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के एडमिशंस की बात होती है तो SRCC का नाम जरूर आता है. लास्ट ईयर तक SRCC इसलिए मीडिया में रहता था कि उसके कट ऑफ्स ऑलमोस्ट 100% टच कर जाते हैं. इस साल से तो डिफरेंट एडमिशन प्रोसेस हो गया है, डिफरेंट एग्जाम आ गया है, बट SRCC is not SRCC just because it has great faculty members. If you look at the infrastructure, it is not so great. It is good, but not so great. आज के डेट में बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बहुत अच्छे हैं, वर्ल्ड क्लास है. SRCC नहीं है उस लेवल पे. But what makes SRCC a global or a household name when it comes to commerce studies is the peers. जो बैच ओवर द इयर्स आता गया है, जहां पे हर बच्चा 95-99% लेकर आया है, जो उनका लेवल ऑफ इंटरेक्शन होगा, जो उनका लेवल ऑफ लर्निंग होगा, वो नेचुरली डिफरेंट होगा. सो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आप अपने आप को उन लोगों के आसपास इर्द गिर्द रखें, अपने आप को सराउंडेड रखें जो आपके ड्रीम को शेयर करते हैं, जो आपकी तरफ पैशनेट हैं, जो एम्बिशियस हैं. वो आपको पुश करेंगे अपने आपके ड्रीम को अचीव करने में. सो करियर की बात जब करते हैं, ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फेज होता है. आप एम्बिशियस लोगों के साथ जुड़े. दूसरा, स्टडीज इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट एक मेंटर का होना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, एक गाइड का होना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. And I think ये जो जापानीज प्रोवर्ब है, better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great mentor. I think that holds very, very true at whatever stage of your life you are in. आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप अपने लिए एक मेंटर ढूंढें. मेंटर एक जरूरी नहीं कि टीचर होना चाहिए. मेंटर आपके पेरेंट्स हो सकते हैं, मेंटर आपका एल्डर सिबलिंग हो सकता है, मेंटर आपका फ्रेंड भी हो सकता है, बट somebody who can guide you. The other thing is, where is more important than what? और इसके ऊपर I have already deliberated a little bit. I mean, the institution, कहाँ से पढ़ रहे हैं वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है than what. And last but not the least, आज जिस इंफॉर्मेशन एरा में हम रह रहे हैं, जिस डिजिटल वर्ल्ड के दुनिया में हम रह रहे हैं, इग्नोरेंस इज नॉट अ चॉइस यू हैव. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते हो कि मुझे ये चीज नहीं पता था. An 8-year-old today knows how to handle, forget about 8-year-old. Today, a 2-year-old runs YouTube. A 6-year-old is the highest paid YouTuber in the world, earns around some 20, I may not be specific with the data, but I believe it's 200 crores in a year by just doing videos on different toys. Yesterday, I was reading about a young entrepreneur who has created a business worth 100 crores and he's just 13 years old in India itself. Today, you can't be ignorant. You are living in a digital world where everything is connected. We are virtually connected with each other. Who would have thought 5 years ago that we would be interacting this way? COVID or no COVID, but this was bound to happen. This was bound to happen. Today, geographical boundaries have been cut off. I do not need to come to Mumbai or go to Pune or go to Hyderabad or a Bangalore to interact with students. I can very well do it on Zoom, on a StreamYard or a Google Meet, those who are watching me on YouTube. So in this world, you can't be ignorant. So the undergraduate, these are the best places, best colleges. You should definitely, agar aap 12th mein hai, 9th mein hai, 10th mein hai, 11th mein hai, and if you plan a future for yourself in the field of business, you want to be with the corporate world, these are the institutions you should definitely have on your target list. Ye aapke target list mein zarur hone chahiye. I've already spoken about all this. This is what makes it very different. This is what makes it very different. And for those who really get motivated by money, unfortunate, but then there, it's true, it's a fact. After all, we are making such a big investment. It's about my 30 years of life, my 30 years of career. This is about the IPM. So those who were questioning the corporate acceptability, I think this is how it has. First batch graduated in 2016. The current batch is just graduating. The last batch graduated in 2021. This is what is with the 5-year. In fact, today the average has gone ahead of the regular MBA program. So IPM, because of its pedagogy, this is what makes it different. Nobody ever thought that humanities, literature, psychology should be a very important part of management learning. And that's what makes it different. And that's what corporates have understood, that these kids are better than anybody else. And over a period of time, the ones which are starting right now, they will be coming out with better placements as well. Just to give you a slight idea before I move on to the postgraduate part, entrances are focused on mathematics, English and reasoning only. You don't need to worry about. ये इंदौर का पैटर्न है और जो लोग बोलेंगे आपको कि कट ऑफ्स बहुत हाई जाता है, डिफिकल्ट होता है एग्जाम, जस्ट टू गिव यू एन आइडिया, सी 20 out of 80 आप इधर देख सकते हो, 80 में से 20 एवढो. So it's not that difficult. Writing an entrance exam is an art. You have to learn. I'm not going to deliberate much today. So on this, but please understand, these are a test of your aptitude. These are a test of your general reasoning skills, awareness, what's happening around you, जिसको हम इंडिया में एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट बोलते हैं. सो आप अगर रीजनिंग स्किल्स के ऊपर फोकस करेंगे, लैंग्वेज के ऊपर फोकस करेंगे, यू विल डू well in these examinations and it would not be difficult for you to get into the best of the colleges in the country. Don't get threatened by the numbers. जो आप competition के numbers देखते हो, उससे डरने की जरूरत नहीं है. फैक्ट ये भी है, मैंने 17 साल बिताए हैं इस इंडस्ट्री में. I train students for different competitive examination. Hardly 20% of the people are really competitive. And you know in what direction I'm going about. आपको पता है स्टार्ट एक अलग चीज होती है, बट बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स कंटिन्यू नहीं करते हैं. तो एक्चुअल कंपटीशन जो होता है ना, व्हाट एवर नंबर यू सी डिवाइडेड बाय 5 एंड दैट वुड बी योर एक्चुअल कंपटीशन, टू बी फ्रैंक. बट द बेस्ट पार्ट अबाउट दिस हियर इज द लैक ऑफ अवेयरनेस. यू नो, हार्डली 10,000 12,000 people aspire to get into this and write the examination. Unlike पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट एमबीए प्रोग्राम्स, एमबीए प्रोग्राम्स की जब हम बात करते हैं, वहां पे 2.5 lakh people take the biggest examination in the country. यहाँ पे उसी IIM में जाने के लिए मात्र 10,000 लोग एंट्रेंस लिख रहे हैं, 12,000 लोग एंट्रेंस लिख रहे हैं. So I think it is always it's also easy to get into an IIM after class 12th rather than after graduation. So for those youngsters who are in school right now, if you are clear that business management is something I want to learn, I think you must think about IPM as a program immediately after class 12. For the students who are in college right now, these are some of the entrances, which will take you to the best 30-40 odd colleges in the country. All the IIMs, they come under CAT, Common Admission Test, which is taken by roughly around 2 lakh students every year. Then Xavier's aptitude test is for XLRI, Jamshedpur, and some other colleges. NMIMS does its own exam, and NMAT. Then we have IFT doing its own examination done by NTA, the National Testing Agency. If you want to study international business, then we have Maharashtra MBA MS CET Common Entrance Test for colleges located in the state of Maharashtra, the government aided colleges, which includes Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, Sydenham, all those colleges which are part of Mumbai University. So best of them, they have a common entrance examination. So these are the exams you should, which will take you to the best of the colleges for the MBA program or the PGDA program. So what should you do? I would suggest this is what you should do. Do well in your academics and prep for these aptitude entrances. I'm sure you'll have a great career. Academics kabhi bhi neglect nahi karna chahiye. So if you want to have a great career for yourself, you don't need to ponder about, or maybe you might be thinking, बहुत difficult होता है, बहुत difficult है life में आगे बढ़ना. I think it is all about being consistent. It is all about being diligent and being more thoughtful. तो बहुत complicated नहीं है life, जितना हम समझते हैं उसको बना देते हैं. अगर आप सिंपल चीजों को फॉलो करेंगे, एड्रेस करेंगे, आई थिंक यू ऑलवेज विल हैव अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर योरसेल्फ. Simply focus on your academics, know what's happening around you, know about the institutions, as I said, where is more important than what, once you have decided, but always keep your options open as well. And you can get into the different professions if you do well in your academics, if you do well, if you're not ignorant, if you know, keep yourself aware about your surroundings, I'm sure a great career awaits you. That was all from my end. Hope I have been able to cover what was expected and out of this session, and I'm sure this session will help students, youngsters, parents, teachers. And this has created some awareness, and I'm sure students who are attending the session today, parents who are attending the session today on behalf of their children, I'm sure each one of them will see success in the coming days, coming years, and would definitely have a great future ahead. So that would be all from my end. And as Dr. Archana has already mentioned in the chat box, if you have any questions, you may please type that in the chat box, or you may raise your hand at the end of the session. So now you can go ahead and put up your questions.
I think that was a wonderfully elaborate session, Mr. Kumar, because, being a parent myself and both being teenagers, and I have recently gone through the entire, procedure of going through different careers, their aptitude tests, and helping them to select their careers, or rather, going with what they wanted and whether it is suitable for them or no. So I know exactly this is what parents want and they need to know. But of course, there are going to be questions, and it was an elaborate session, and all those probably who are in that age group, or parents who have children in that age group, are bound to have some questions. So if there are any questions, we welcome it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Sir, if you could just stop your screen share.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be able to see, if somebody's raising hand. So any question, please ask it in the chat box, or you can just raise your hand and I'll invite you to ask your question. So please share the list of reputed institutes for IPM once again.
Okay, I'll just go back and share my screen. Just give me a second. So currently it is being offered by very limited institutions. It's a new phenomenon, but and in the last 2 years, COVID stopped. So I'm sure over a period of time, and we know that some of the other IIMs are also planning to come with the IPM program, but it will not be limited to only the IIMs, and I believe most of the other institutions which are in different disciplines, they'll also come up with this program. So currently we have 5 IIMs: Indian Institute of Management, Indore, Rohtak, Ranchi, Jammu, Bodh Gaya, and then this I would say one of the best in international business, IIFT. They are starting a program in IPM, which will focus on international business and business analytics, basically. So they are going very core, very disciplined. Then we have Nirma University in Ahmedabad, a private university, again offering this program, and Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. So what you see on the left side is what they offer, IPM. Syed Sukhdev is a 3-year BMS program. It's the best in the country, but it's a 3-year, it's not an integrated program. But these 5 IIMs, along with these 3 institutions, are the most reputed ones, and I think definitely should be on a list.
So, sir, my next question would be that would IPM, I think that is called as IPMAT examination, would that make the student eligible for admission to all these, or they have separate examinations for separate institutes?
Okay, so currently, unfortunate part is ideally it should have been a one single exam like they do it for the postgraduate program. So currently, Indore has its own IPMAT. And they have it there. Then Rohtak, which started the program in 2019, they also call it IPMAT. So they have their own separate IPMAT. Jammu and Bodh Gaya, they have a common exam known as JIPMAT. So this is conducted by government agency NTA, the National Testing Agency. Ranchi does not conduct its own examination. For Ranchi, you can appear for SAT examination. Your attempt when you are in class 11th can be, class 12th, that you can take SAT then, or maybe in the month of March, maximum by May in the year in which you are writing your class 12. Preferred score is 1300 out of, that was the benchmark last year out of 1600. And they also accept the score of IPMAT conducted by IIM Indore. So this is the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade is starting the program this year from 2022. They will be accepting the score of IPMAT IIM Indore. Same goes true for these 2 institutions as well. So currently a student, if they're looking for these colleges, they have IPMAT by IIM Indore, IPMAT by Rohtak, and then JIPMAT. These are the 3 examinations. Through these 3 exams, this all 7-8 institutions can be covered.
Okay. Sir, how many IPMAT exams in a year, and what is
Just
the age
once.
limit for the students?
Just once. So mostly happens after the class 12 board examination, a month after the class 12 board examination. Usually the timeline is, if you go back to the pre-COVID, hopefully from next year, that is what we would expect. So it should be May 1st week and 2nd week. That's when the examination would happen. And the age limit depends on the category, respective categories. In some of these institutions, there is a 2-year relaxation for people coming from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and PWD category. But for the people who are from non-creamy layer OBC, EWS, and general category, the unreserved category, the age limit is 20 years. The dates are defined. It could be either 31st of July or 1st of July, depending on the institution, but you should not be more than 20 years when you are appearing for the examination. There is also a limit in terms of when you have completed your class 12. So only a gap year of 1 year or 2 year is given by these institutions, depending respectively eligibility criteria. So कुछ institution आपको 1 साल का ही gap allow करते हैं, कुछ maximum 2 साल का gap allow करते हैं.
So number of attempts for these tests?
There's no number of attempts. So it all depends whether you are within that age limit. So, and provided you have appeared for your class 12th examination. So there's no age limit. So maximum you can foresee is 3, depending on what stage, what age group you are in. So if let's say you are completing your class 12th in even at the age of 17, you can't go for more than 2 or 3 attempts, because then these institutions have a cap on the in which year you have completed your class 12. So age the gap in your education. So maximum I would say is 3, and the exam is conducted just once in a year.
Okay. So
SAT is something which is conducted multiple times, 4 times in a year.
Okay.
So ideally, if somebody wants to go for SAT examination to be considered for IIM Ranchi, so they should appear before their class 12. So one is in March, or once they have finished their class 12, then they have a May attempt. May के बाद का consider नहीं हो पाएगा, क्योंकि next exam will be in the month of August. By that time they would finish. और when you are in class 12th, आप उस समय जो अगस्त या दिसंबर का जो एग्जाम होगा आप उसको लिखें, because the scores for SAT are valid for 1 year.
Okay. Okay. Sir, what about the 12th standard weightage and all those who are doing MBA post their business degrees? So what about the admission process after that? You said it is quite a little bit, of course, difficult process. But then is there any work criteria or what is required if you want to give an MBA examination after taking your business graduate study?
Okay,
And
so
here the
before
12th standard weightage.
Okay, before that, I think I have a question. We have a question here on exam center location. See, exam centers are very limited. So bigger cities do become the exam center. So there are some 20 odd cities, 25 odd cities where these exams can be taken up. So when you fill the application form, these applications in the application form, these institution ask for your preference of the cities. आपको 3 से 4 choices मिलते हैं जहां पे वो एग्जाम सेंटर क्रिएट करेंगे तो आप अपना प्रेफरेंस देते हैं फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड ऑर्डर में उनमें से कोई एक सेंटर मोस्टली फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस ही मिल जाता है क्योंकि बड़े सिटीज में एग्जाम होता है तो अगर आप छोटे टियर 1 टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटीज से हैं तो हो सकता है कि आपको उस बड़े मेट्रो या बड़े टाउनशिप में जाकर के जो भी नजदीक है वहां पे आपको एग्जाम लिखना पड़ेगा द अदर थिंग इज ये सारे एग्जाम ऑनलाइन होते हैं कंप्यूटर बेस्ड टेस्ट होते हैं कोई मैनेजमेंट के फील्ड में आज के डेट में कोई भी एग्जाम पेपर पेंसिल बेस्ड नहीं है सो आपको प्रैक्टिस भी कंप्यूटर पे ही करनी चाहिए क्योंकि कंप्यूटर पे खुद को अडेप्ट करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है देखिए इंटरेस्ट की बात है किसी को एग्जाम अच्छा नहीं लगता है 2 घंटे अगर मैं आपको एग्जाम में बैठने के लिए बोलूं तो शायद आप पसंद नहीं करेंगे मैं आपको 2 घंटे बोलूं यूट्यूब पे मूवी वॉच करना है या किसी की इंस्टा रील देखनी है आप इंस्टा रील्स 2 घंटे तक स्क्रॉल करेंगे आपको समय का पता नहीं चलेगा द मोमेंट आई से यू हैव टू सिट 2 आवर्स टू राइट एन एग्जामिनेशन आपको वो चीज पसंद नहीं आएगी तो वो हैबिट डेवलप करना जिसको हम बोलते हैं कुर्सी से चिपकने की जो हैबिट है ना वो आपको सीखनी पड़ेगी वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है दूसरी बात होती है कि आईसाइट की बात है एडजस्ट करना विदाउट स्ट्रेन 2 घंटे आप बैठ सकते हैं कि नहीं बॉडी को अडेप्ट करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है तो वो चीज का बिल्कुल ध्यान रखें ये सारे एग्जाम्स जो मैनेजमेंट एंट्रेंसेस हैं सभी आज की डेट में ऑनलाइन है कमिंग बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर अर्चना जो पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं जो एमबीए
Sir, just continuing with this point which you said that the exam is online. So in online also there is a center or you have to give it from your home or you have to go to the center to give exam?
Basically in common language we call it online, common parlance we call it online. The technical word is computer based test.
Okay.
So you will be allotted a center. आपको एक center
Alright.
allot होगा जहाँ पे systems होते हैं आपके लिए एक सिस्टम पहले से डेजिग्नेटेड होगा where you'll go and sit, you'll feed your roll number and credentials as given in your admit card.
Okay.
And on the scheduled time your paper will start. So आपको वो जाकर के लिखना पड़ेगा कोविड के टाइम पे 1-2 इंस्टीट्यूशंस ने होम प्रॉक्टेड किया था बट आई थिंक उनके एक्सपीरियंसेस अच्छे नहीं रहते आई कैन वेरी वेल अंडरस्टैंड आप समझ गए मैं क्या कहना चाहता हूँ तो आप बच्चों को मॉनिटर नहीं कर सकते हैं घर पे क्या हो रहा है तो वापस मतलब सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस उस मोड पे चले गए जहाँ पे आपको एग्जाम सेंटर पे ही आकर एग्जाम लिखना पड़ेगा वो प्री डेजिग्नेटेड होता है सिस्टम आपके नाम से सो पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट प्रोग्राम्स जो होते हैं जो आपका क्वेश्चन था आई वुड से बहुत से लोगों का ये मन में रहेगा ये क्वेश्चन कि ये जो एग्जाम्स होते हैं इनका प्रोसेस क्या होता है तो देखिए वो इंस्टीट्यूशन के ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा इट ऑल विल डिपेंड ऑन इंस्टीट्यूशन दे ऑल हैव देयर रिस्पेक्टिव क्राइटेरियाज ऑफ सिलेक्शन सो जैसे वर्कएक्स की आपने बात उठाई थी वर्कएक्स इज नॉट मैंडेटरी but you do get added advantage in some of the institutions. So अगर आपके पास 2 साल 3 साल का वर्कएक्स है बहुत ज्यादा वर्कएक्स रेगुलर एमबीए प्रोग्राम के लिए बहुत ज्यादा वर्कएक्स की हेल्प नहीं करेगा वो कई बार निगेटिव के तौर पे काम करता है तो उस आपको बेसिकली इसलिए नेगेटिव के तौर पर वो चाहते हैं कि फिर आप जब ऑलरेडी इतने सालों से वर्किंग मान लीजिए 10 साल 12 साल से तो इट्स बेटर यू गो फॉर एन एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रोग्राम विच इज ऑलरेडी देयर अगर आप रेगुलर एमबीए प्रोग्राम करना चाहते हैं इफ यू वांट टू गो फॉर अ रेगुलर एमबीए प्रोग्राम एंड यू वांट टू डू इट आफ्टर गेटिंग सम वर्क एक्सपीरियंस प्रेफर्ड इज 2 to 3 years that's what acceptable so points मिलते हैं इसके additional benefit हो जाता है during the course of selection but if you look at the course of selection that varies from institution to institution but first thing is to write the entrance test और जो entrance test होता है majorly आपका English verbal ability दूसरा maths थर्ड इज रीजनिंग, LRDI, लॉजिकल रीजनिंग एंड डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन, और किसी किसी एग्जाम में जनरल नॉलेज, जनरल अवेयरनेस भी आता है, जैसे IFT के पेपर में जनरल अवेयरनेस जरूर आता है. So plus marking scheme can vary, negative marking and all, but first stage is to write the entrance. And when it comes to MBA, very important to know कि हर अच्छा कॉलेज आपका पर्सनालिटी असेसमेंट जरूर करेगा. सो आप जितने भी लोग एग्जाम लिखेंगे उसमें से एक सर्टेन परसेंटेज ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स बेस्ड ऑन कट ऑफ उनको नेक्स्ट स्टेज में बुलाया जाएगा, जहां पे आपको डिफरेंट इवैल्यूएशन मेथड्स होते हैं, जिसमें आपका रिटन एबिलिटी टेस्ट होता है, जिसमें आपको टॉपिक दिया जाता है जिसके ऊपर आपको एसे लिखना होता है इन सिंपलर टर्म्स. देन आपका जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट होता है वो है पर्सनल इंटरव्यू. आपका इंटरव्यू जरूर होगा. दे वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड, एम आई सेलेक्टिंग द राइट गाय फॉर द प्रोग्राम? डू यू हैव दैट विजन, या आप भेड़ चाल में चले आए हो हमारे पास? Do you really want to be into the business world? Do you really want to study and be part of this program? And why we should? Do you have that talent? Do you have that talent within or skill within you? For that basis, we should select you and then upskill you further actually. So first stage is to write the entrance, and the second stage is go through the personality assessment round. And there are some additional conditions by some institutions, which includes WorkX, which includes your past academic records. Now, unfortunately, not many people would be aware that there are some of the AIMS, the top ones, agar hum Ahmedabad in sab ki baat kare, they also give certain extra advantage to people with better academic credentials in 10th and 12th. अनफॉर्चुनेटली 10th-12th में लोग आईएम्स की बात नहीं करते हैं, बट आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि वो आपके 10th और 12th को स्कोर को भी वेटेज प्रोवाइड करते हैं. It is not like 99%, but 90 to 99 is considered one bracket, 80 to 89 is considered one bracket. So that is defined by, and that keeps on changing. There are a lot of institutions in the country which also give gender diversity points. So if there is a female student applying, they already get some points advantage. That applies for even some of the IPM programs. So अगर आप female student हैं, I'm glad if we have females here, I'm sharing this, आपको added advantage पहले से मिल जाता है. तो आप अगर थोड़ा अच्छा करेंगे तो आपके chances of selection बहुत ही अच्छे हो जाते हैं. इसके अलावा मतलब there is no standard, ये gender diversity standard नहीं है. कुछ institutions offer करते हैं, कुछ नहीं करते हैं. But what is common is entrance plus personality assessment round. So that's why I said अपने academics पे focus रखना बहुत जरूरी है. You never know, 10th, 12th may come back to haunt you at a later stage. So that is possible. Coming back, जो IPM का है, IPM program में some of them do have weightages for class 12. Most of them, in fact. Indore doesn't give, but for these this IPM program, you need a minimum of 60% in class 10th as well as class 12. So दोनों stages पे आपका minimum 60% होना चाहिए. You can be from any stream. आप humanities से हो, आप commerce से हो, आप sciences से हो. These are all stream neutral choices. Management is a stream neutral choice. But what is mandatory is that you have. And one myth I would like to shatter here on this platform. No, you don't need mathematics to be eligible for these entrances. Contrary to what people believe, that for these programs, mathematics is very, very important. You don't need that. You have to study. Yes, paper does have a quantitative mathematics, which is mathematics section, but mostly of these entrances, the level of mathematics is what you have studied in your seniors, in your secondary school, not even in senior secondary school. So please understand, that's a big myth which also stops students from this. I don't have maths, or probably I'm not so good in maths, I will not be able to do well. They don't even move ahead actually. So that is one myth I would like to shatter. The only institution which looks for mathematics in class 12th for IPM program is IAFT. This is the only institution.
Okay.
That's it.
Great. Fantastic. So, sir, probably maybe we have few doctors over here, and
Sure.
you spoke about certification program or executive program in probably which a few of the doctors who are probably younger generation who wish to look forward into something in the corporate world. So, can you speak a little more about these corporate or executive programs which you spoke about?
Okay, so the executive programs are designed for people who are working professionals who are already in the respective fields for maybe 5 years, 7 years, 3 years. The minimum eligibility criteria at most of the institution is that you must be working for last 3 years. You should be a graduate minimum. But then these programs are meant for those people who are already into the profession, in any profession, and they believe that having this knowledge, the business management knowledge, will help me excel further, which give me a career growth, which will take me to the next level, which is currently stopping me because of my background. And for people who could not complete or could not have thought of completing their management education earlier because of their financial or family background, so this program is designed for them. Now, each of the institution have different method of delivery. Like there are certain IIMs, like if you talk about IIM Calcutta for that matter, one of the best in the country, they have tied up with certain organization like Hughes Network. So through which the delivery of the program happens. So you don't need to be at the campus all the time. You will be required to go to the campus for very limited durations for a certain number of days. And then most of your education learning happens through the online mode basically, and classes happens either in evening hours or weekend hours. Like if I talk about this institution, FMS Delhi, Faculty of Management Studies, they have a 2-year executive management program, which for which the sessions, the classes happens after from 6:30 onwards actually. So one can go for the regular office and they can then join the program over there. But there are many other institutions which do understand that it may not be possible for everybody to leave office by 6 and join the program. So what they have done is they are offering the program in online mode, and during the course of the program, you will be required to visit the campus once or twice, the contact programs which happens. They also help you with internship opportunities and if required placement opportunities as well. So, and even for those programs, if you're looking for the best of the institutions in the country, you'll have to take up some of these entrances. Like CAT is the most preferred entrance by most of the institutions. So currently, most of the IIMs are running their own business leadership or executive program. Depending if it's just a certificate program, merely a certificate program, then it would be a 1-year program or a 6 months program. If it is a full-time executive program, it could range between 2 to 3 years, and uh, could be online, offline as well, just like I told you about the combination. But this is for people who are already into the profession. So like if I talk about the doctors, you are talking about young doctors over here, I'm sure they would want to learn more about the management aspect from a hospital administration perspective tomorrow, if they want to have their own hospitals, or maybe they also see a future in that. I think if you are from that understanding, I think the executive program is definitely one should look forward to. So IIMs, then Mumbai, you have, if I talk about specifically because the organization is there. So, so if you talk about Mumbai, then Narsi Monji has an executive program. They do offer this executive program, and Bellinkers is another institution where you can go for. Symbiosis has an executive program. It is based out of Pune. So there are a lot of good institutions which do. IIMs do that actually.
Great. Sir, I've got a just one second. The question has come. Are there any specific programs for existing business owners and their children?
Okay. So in that sense, I would take this question in a different way. While whether you are a business owner or if you are talking about your children, I think you can go for, depending on what stage the child is in. So one, if somebody is in school, they can think for this 5-year or a 3-year BBA program. Or if you're in a college already, then you can go for an MBA. You learn all those skills which are required for your existing business as well. But if you're very specifically looking for something called entrepreneurship, then there is a very good institution in Ahmedabad, EDI, Entrepreneurship Development Institution, where you can go for an MBA program after having completed your graduation. So there you can learn entrepreneurship, that is very focused on entrepreneurship. Family business as a program is very limited. Narsi Monji is one good name, NMIMS Mumbai, Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies University, which has a very specific program in family business. So where you can take that up. So if you're an existing business owner or even otherwise, you can go for the regular MBA program. That would be that. Even there, you learn the same skill sets which are required to expand your business. Do we professionals
Yes.
need to face entrance exam? Yes, you will have to. For best, as I said earlier, if something is good, there are some obstacles. So shortcut mein nahi aayega. So you'll have to write certain examination. There are, like, for example, if you talk about business leadership programs offered by the IIMs or the executive programs, you'll have to, agar wo in campus hai, you'll have to appear for the entrance. Which are not in campus programs, वहां पे भी कई जगहों पे they need you to write the CAT examination, common admission test. उसका replacement CMAT है, एक और exam है, उसके आप दे सकते हैं, but CAT is the most preferred and most known examination. So people have to write that examination. That becomes one of the evaluation criteria. Mostly it is interviews you have to go through.
Okay. So I've got two questions on my personal chat. One is that what are the subjects which are studied at the undergraduate level? That is the BBA, BA, BMS. That is one question. And second is about these executive certificate programs. What you spoke about, I think you spoke about 1-year programs. So what is the prospect after that? I mean, are they widely accepted if it is done from IMA? Are they widely accepted at all the, leading institutions?
Okay, so first of all, I would answer the second one. The executive programs, as I said, are designed for working professionals. So one is you are working in an organization, but somewhere you believe your growth is not happening any further because of your education or the background or the skill set required. You are lacking at some of these skill sets actually. So one key thought is that probably you want to be there in the same organization, but you want an opportunity created for you for which this particular knowledge is required. The other is you want to now diversify or you want to move into some other sector, some other discipline. For that, you need to have that knowledge. So these executive programs, if done from the reputed institutions, they are definitely widely accepted. Like if you do it from the IIMs, if you do it from Nasi Monjis or Symbiosis or Accelerise of the world, then they are very widely accepted and they have their own value. They help you in your salary growth, your professional growth. So no questions about that. In fact, they are very much widely accepted. The other one which you spoke about, if you can just elaborate once
that
again.
is subject studied at the undergraduate
Subject
level.
studied at the undergrad level. So I would just go back a little bit. So what I spoke about what makes different, but some of these are also like economics. So when you are talking about an undergraduate management or postgraduate, the subjects taught are more or less 80% similar. So at the undergraduate level, you learn the various business skills. So initially in the first year, you learn about you'll have subjects like business communication, you will have microeconomics, you will have a little bit of statistics, then accountancy is one subject because that's very, very important. Then management information systems, which is related to technology, data handling, data analytics. So then in the next years, you'll also start learning about the different disciplines, marketing, finance, HR. And in the final year, you pick up your own specialization. So if you have selected marketing, then you move into that segment where you learn branding, advertising, consumer behavior, sales. So all those subjects become important for you. Some of these institutions also give you opportunity to go for dual specialization where you can have a major and a minor pickup. So you can go for a major in marketing, minor in finance, or vice versa. So basically the business management programs have, then business communication is one language, one subject which you'll have to definitely study. Operations is another one. So then consumer behavior as part of the marketing. So that's there. Business organization is another subject. Organizational principles you learn. So these are the various, and the institutions will have trimester or a semester system depending on how they are operating actually. So economics, accountancy, the various disciplines, business communication, organizational behavior. So these are the areas which are generally taught in the field of business management.
Great. I think this covers almost all. And only one last question from my end for, because anybody who is probably maths phobic, they generally want to opt for other options, they are looking for other options. So anybody who's probably entering into this field, you said that maths is not a very difficult level, at the entrance exam level. But what kind of maths will they be studying during their, the UG and of course at the higher level?
So when you are talking about the program, when you are
Yes,
already there,
yes, yes.
it's not about mathematics per se. It's more about statistics. So where you learn about averages, mean, medium, and mode actually, because they become very handy when you are doing all those data analytics and all. When you're trying to figure out what the data which has been there talks about actually. So what it displays, what it talks about. So it's not that difficult actually. So it's more of a basic statistics rather than mathematics, I would say.
Usable and practical
Yes,
aspect of it.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So all those maths phobic people, please note that you are not going to be studying maths as what you study in, many of the maths related subjects, or the commerce related subjects also. They have lots of maths involved in it. So it is not going to be like that. All right. So probably this brings us to an end of this webinar. And